Yo, what's good, everybody? SloMoBackSlap here, hitting you with another video. And today I'm going to talk about something that's a little bit different. I normally don't get into platform stuff. I normally speak mostly just on games, regardless of platform. But I thought it would be a good change of pace to talk about the next gen consoles and their impact on gaming going on in the future. And so, if you're not aware, this week has been very revealing in regards to the next gen consoles of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And so to recap things very quickly, earlier this week, Microsoft came out and revealed the entire spec sheet of the Xbox Series X, even allowing third parties such as certain YouTubers like Austin Evans and Digital Foundry to get their hands into the actual hardware, break it down, take it apart, see every nook and cranny of the console, which is a very different approach than what we've seen from PlayStation so far. Today we got a deep dive from Mark Cerny in a very GDC-like presentation where he discussed in detail the benefits of SSD over mechanical hard drives, sound, and also speaking on how dangerous it is to rely on teraflops and CUs, compute units, as a determination of performance. Now, I'm not going to get into any comparisons between the two because I still believe, even though we have all these specs here, that the actual performance of the games is going to be determined by developers, by the talent of those developers, and how well they implement the hardware that is at their disposal. So I'm not going to get into any comparisons. It's pointless to me. What I will talk about is how the improvements in console hardware are going to be a great benefit to all gamers regardless of platform. So if you're not aware, usually what happens with multi-plats or any game that's on multiple SKUs of a platform is that the developer is going to design their game around the lowest common denominator, around the weakest hardware. The reason why they do this is that they need to make sure that the game that you're playing, regardless of which particular SKU or hardware that you're playing, is the same game that someone else is playing. So you're not going to have someone who's playing on, say, the very, very best PC having more enemies on screen than someone who's playing on a potato. You're not going to have someone having more enemies on screen in Gears of War 5 on the Xbox Series X versus someone playing the same game on the Xbox One S. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be the same. Now, the performance of these games as far as resolution, frame rates, the effects that are on the screen, whether they're on ultra or low or non-existent, that all is scaling. And that's always going to be something that's going to be different depending on the hardware that you have. But what I'm focusing in on is how at last gen, when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, they were already using hardware that was not the greatest of that time. They weren't future-proofed, and therefore it held back even games that, even if you're a PC gamer and you're playing a game that's also going to be on consoles, that game's going to be held back to an extent because it could have been so much greater if the hardware, the base hardware that it was going to be played on, could do more. Now with these next gen systems, we're seeing hardware that's going to be better than the majority of the PCs that people play on right now. We're seeing hardware that are many times better than the current Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro that we're currently playing on. So we're going to see a certain period of time, 2 years from now, I would say, where we're going to start really seeing some really groundbreaking things happening in gaming. This week we've seen Xbox talk about how they are using software HDR, implementing software HDR into older games that did not and were not developed with HDR in mind in order to improve the visuals. Stuff's amazing. We're seeing with Sony PlayStation 5 where they are using their SSD, their custom SSD, in ways that hasn't been thought of before. they're talking about completely eliminating load times, which you can only really do right now if you are using like a Samsung 970 EVO Plus, which is a PCI 3.0 NVMe on a PC, typically a $200 to $250 SSD. And we're getting all that with console prices. I'm thinking the PlayStation 5 is probably going to be $400. If Microsoft is smart, they'll price the Series X at just $500 and not at the $600 that it probably should be priced at. But regardless of that, this is going to push gaming forward in so many different ways. PC gamers are going to really benefit from this. In many ways, if you're running on an RTX 20-something series, you really haven't got the full benefit of what your hardware can do at this point. Well, you're going to get that now. Newer hardware is coming out. The next NVIDIA Ampere series is coming out. Big Navi is coming out for AMD. We're really going to start seeing more benefits from the hardware that we have. And I'm all for it. The less times we hear from developers that they had to remove features in a game because the hardware wasn't capable of handling it, the better. The less times we hear Guerrilla Games say that they implemented a glider in Horizon Zero Dawn, but they had to take it out because it tanked frame rates when you used it, the better. So instead of bragging about which GPU has the most teraflops, instead of bragging about which IO throughput is faster, sit back and appreciate that these developers are going to get a lot more flexibility and really be able to spread their wings. And for those developers that are really talented, that have been able to do amazing things with very limited hardware, this is just going to be one amazing ride that we're all here and all in gaming to enjoy. So that's all I got today. That's all I wanted to say, and hopefully spark a conversation. What do you guys think about the hardware revealings of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5? Are you impressed, not impressed? Is there anything that you feel that you're disappointed with? I'm actually personally disappointed with backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5 not being more than what it is right now. I can get into detail in that later, but not right now. But just let me guys know how you guys feel about the hardware reveals. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't. It's all good. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos where I kind of not talk about games and just talk about what's going on in the industry, that kind of stuff. You know, just let me know if that's something that you want to see more from me. And hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff. And you guys take care, man. Peace.